It's hard to want a love that stings, but somehow it lasts. Words that say nothing turn into something no one knows. Please, please, between my heart and these thoughts of how she turns me upside down and goes. Please look what she's done to me, without thinking that I lost someone. Begin to think we might be done. Oh, please.
Hello, this is Aaron Kupferberg from Popaholic.com, and today we're going to be talking with Freddy Monday. How are you today, Freddy?
I'm doing well, Aaron. How are you?
Good. You have a new album out called Everything Anyhow, correct?
Correct. That is the title, Everything Anyhow.
You know, it's a really great CD, and I wanted to ask you, first of all, how did you get started in the music business?
How did I get started? Well, I was actually brought up on the Beatles, which I think is a great thing, so I was always very into music. And I decided early on that I wanted to be a musician, and I just stayed with that forever. I never veered from it, and I feel grateful that I did, because I've led the life of a child, so to speak, so things have been going well. I'm really enjoying life in general, so everything's going well.
Is Everything Anyhow your debut, or you've done some musical stuff before this, correct?
Yes, my first solo album was called Words and Pencil. That came out a few years back. And then prior to that, I was in a band called Sore Thumb. And we had a release called I Want to Be Your Davy Jones.
Right. I wanted to ask you about that. How did you get Davy Jones to actually appear in the video and perform with you on that?
Well, first off, I want to say that album was just re-released 2 weeks ago. It came out, again, with some unreleased tracks, which is very cool. So that's back out again. But as far as getting Davy in the video, it actually went through the Monkees fan club, I believe. We had a demo of the song, and it somehow, one of the Monkey fans played it to him, and then we were in the process of recording the actual version of it, and we're about to shoot a video, and I guess his manager at the time contacted us, or we contacted them. I don't remember how it went, but he was very very geared to do it. So as soon as he heard the song, they were actually playing in Manhattan, so we shot some of the videos there, and then he came out to Long Island, where I live, and we shot the rest of the video there. And he was so gracious. He gave me some of his outfits from the show to wear in the video, and it was just really a lot of fun.
Oh, great. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about your process. Like, what works best for you when you're writing and putting together a song? You start with instrumental jams and riffs and then come up with the lyrics, or do you have a lyrical idea first?
It's always different, but I think the best melodies that I come up with are just me walking around singing as opposed to playing on an instrument, because sometimes you might get limited while you're on the instrument. So I think my melodies are better that way. And I have to say, if I hear a phrase or if I say something weird, which I do very often, I come up with a title and I run with it that way. But not so much on an instrument, but that does happen as well.
I mean, you mentioned early on the Beatles were a huge influence. Can you name 3 other musical heroes that really influenced your style?
Yes, for sure. Elvis Costello is one. I love his, everything about his writings, lyrics especially. They're super. They're out of this world to me sometimes. I also like Sheryl Crow a lot. How many did you say? 2 or 3?
One more. Why not?
One more. Who else? I like Hall & Oates too. Darryl Hall. I love his voice, and I love the songs that they wrote. Way back when that was. What
made you decide to go from Sore Thumbs to a pure solo thing? Was there a difference in the band, or you felt the band had sort of gone where it was supposed to go, and then you wanted to do your own thing?
Yeah, I think the band had run its course. A lot of the original members had left the band, and I was the only original member at that point. And I think coming out of the Davy Jones song, which is a very tongue-in-cheek song, I felt I needed to go as Freddy Monday to get my what I call my real music out, which is, it still has some, it's fun, but it's not as goofy as that first album was. There's a lot of funny things on that album. Like there's a song called I Hate Disco, and, it is a part of me, but it wasn't the direction I wanted to go.
Right. I love also on the album, it's got some great atmospherics. I mean, particularly Rain All Day. I mean, it's really got some bounce and pop to it. When you think about like a big downpour getting you, that has to be the most optimistic song I've ever heard on raining.
Well, look what you're doing. You're staying in all day and performing indoor sports. That's a nice way of saying it.
Yep.
And, you're with the person you want to be with, and there's nothing better than that, taking the day off and just hanging out, So that's what that one's about.
Right. So what's next as far as doing like a tour or something to support it?
Well, I have the CD release party coming up July 26th, I believe. It's a week from this Tuesday. And that going to be a great show. I have about 12 musicians playing with me that night. A lot of the original members from Sore Thumb, and then some other musicians I've played with over the years, and the musicians on the record as well will be there. So that's going to be a very fun event. It's going to be, people will be playing on different songs. Hopefully we can remember who was supposed to play on what song, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We also have a master of ceremonies, which is Only Man is his name. He's a superhero with no powers. He'll be walking around in the crowd. So there's going to be a lot of fun things going on for that.
Where is that?
That is at a place called The Fishery in East Rockaway, New York. It's on the water. It's an outdoor show. And we just have to pray for nice weather. We don't want it to rain all day that day.
Okay, well, I think it should be good. It's been pretty hot here, for the past couple weeks with lack of rain.
Right.
Yeah. So, when you're another question, when you're putting together, this album, did you have like a lot of extra songs written? I know sometimes artists, they'll basically come up with like 30 or 40 songs and they'll say, all right, let me pick the 10 or 12 best.
Right.
Is that a similar process with you? Or are you like, these are, I have like really good 12 fleshed out songs and let me just build on them?
No, I chose from a batch of them. And the reason for the title, Everything Anyhow, was some of the songs I had written or started to write when I was 12 or 13. And I've always had these songs lying around. I'm like, I'm going to finish that song. And they're from all different times of my life, a lot of these songs that I had never finished or I had never recorded properly to me, where it would sound, right to me. And that was the whole idea of it. I wanted to get these songs that I had to get them out the right way and do them, no matter how old or new they were. There's, most of them are newer songs, but there's one on there, Another Memory. I actually wrote that melody at the age of 12. And I had it in my head lying around, and I rewrote the lyrics, obviously, and the arrangement. But I'm so glad I did it because I love the way the track came out.
Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful song. You know what, I noticed you did a lot of film and TV work. Is there a huge difference in writing for, a particular scene or a TV show as opposed to writing for yourself on your own? Is there a different process?
There definitely is, but most of the placements I've had have been my actual songs, whether it was the instrumental version of it or the vocal version, which is kind of cool. So they chose my song to be in it. I didn't have to write anything specific for it. But when I did have to write songs the other way, it can become a little difficult if you're trying to, lock into what they're doing. Actually, there's a movie coming out the same day as my release concert, which is July 26th. That's called Born to Ride. And it's a biker movie, and I had to write a heavier type song for that. So I brought in a buddy of mine to co-write that with me. And we got it placed in the movie. So I'm excited about that, too. That's going to come out that same day. But that's not my style. It's not a song that I would record for an album. But it's, it's a heavier thing, but it still has my elements in it.
Right. I was just taken back because the famous Andrew Gold used to always compare his own songwriting style with when he did a lot of production work for someone else. And he did an immense amount of work for other people. So he always mentioned, well, you're always trying to please the other party, so to speak.
And he was amazing. He really, sad that he passed on now, but he was everywhere. I mean, he did everything. I'm kind of a little stingy when it comes to that. I'm trying to stay to my own style, and if that happens, if I get a placement, great. That's what I'm really looking for. I don't really want to, sit there and have to write jingles or do things like that. Luckily, I don't have to do that at the moment, knock on wood. But, I'm trying to stay with my own, trying to stay true to myself that, I'm going to write the songs that are coming next or that I've had in my head since I was little, trying to do that stuff.
Well, I hope you keep going and look forward to the success of this album and anything anyhow, and we look forward to future albums, your sophomore LP. I'm sure you have it sort of mapped up in the back of your head somewhere. Where can people buy this album right now? It's online at...
It's everywhere. You can get it at iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, all of them, wherever.
Wherever music is. All right, great. Well, I appreciate this interview. Thanks so much for your time, Freddie. And,
I appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you.
Sure, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the near future. And take care, and thanks so much.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.